A major conflict is now entering a longer phase. Despite heavy airstrikes and global pressure, Iran is still holding its ground. The question is simple: why is this war not ending? The current situation involves the United States, Israel, and Iran. This conflict has now continued for over a month. The U.S. and Israel are carrying out large-scale military operations. Iran is responding with missile and drone attacks. At the same time, regional groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis are becoming active. There are also reports of indirect talks, but no clear progress. So this is no longer a short conflict. It is turning into a prolonged regional struggle. To understand the current situation, we need some context. In the past year, the U.S. and Israel targeted key parts of Iran's nuclear program, including uranium enrichment and storage facilities. Those earlier strikes were limited and focused. This time, the scale is much larger. Thousands of airstrikes have been carried out. The goal appears to be clear: to weaken Iran's military and strategic capabilities. There were also early expectations that Iran's system could collapse quickly, but that did not happen. Instead, Iran's leadership structure remains intact. Its military forces are still operational. Now the conflict has expanded beyond direct strikes. It is affecting global trade routes, energy markets, and regional stability. According to reports, the United States has conducted over 10,000 airstrikes so far. Recent developments show U.S. bombers used heavy bunker buster bombs on Iranian targets, including ammunition depots and possibly nuclear-linked sites. There are also reports of explosions near key nuclear locations, such as Isfahan. At the same time, Iran continues to launch ballistic missiles and drones toward Israel. Iran has also targeted regional assets, including areas near the Gulf waters and oil-related targets. Israel has expanded its operations as well. Ground activity against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon is increasing. Israeli forces are creating buffer zones near the border. Meanwhile, Iran has reduced internet access inside the country, limiting the flow of information. There are also reports of indirect diplomatic talks through intermediaries. However, no agreement has been reached. Another important development is the involvement of additional actors. Hezbollah and the Houthis have increased their activity. There are also indications that Russia is supporting Iran with intelligence and cooperation. At the same time, global oil movement is being affected. Shipping routes, especially near key straits, are now under pressure. Now, let's look at what this situation really means. First, the objective of the U.S. and Israel seems clear: to weaken Iran's military strength and limit its regional influence. However, the results are mixed. Yes, there has been significant damage, but Iran still has missile capabilities and operational networks. This shows one thing: the assumption of a quick collapse was incorrect. Second, Iran's strategy is focused on endurance. Instead of direct confrontation alone, it is using multiple layers: missile attacks, proxy groups, and pressure on global trade routes. By doing this, Iran increases the cost of war for everyone. Third, regional groups are playing a bigger role. Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen are opening new fronts. This spreads the conflict across multiple regions. For the U.S. and Israel, this creates a far more complex battlefield. Fourth, global economic pressure is becoming critical. The Strait of Hormuz is essential for oil supply. Any disruption there affects the entire world. Iran understands this leverage. Even limited control creates global pressure. Fifth, Russia's role is important, though indirect. Reports suggest intelligence sharing and military cooperation. At the same time, Russia benefits from higher oil prices. This means the conflict has global geopolitical effects. Sixth, Gulf countries are in a difficult position. Some appear to support pressure on Iran, but they also face direct risks of retaliation. So they are balancing between security and stability. Finally, diplomacy remains uncertain. Back-channel talks exist, but public positions remain firm. This suggests one thing: both sides are still testing their leverage, and right now, no side is ready to compromise. Looking ahead, there are several possible paths. First, the conflict continues in its current form, with ongoing strikes and limited escalation. Second, a major escalation. If energy infrastructure is directly targeted, the impact could be global. Oil markets and shipping routes would be heavily affected. Third, proxy involvement may increase further. Groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis could open new fronts. This spreads the conflict across multiple regions. For the US and Israel, this creates a far more complex battlefield. Fourth, diplomacy still has a chance. If pressure becomes too high, both sides may move toward negotiation. But that requires trust and incentives, which are both currently limited. So, in the short term, stability is unlikely. The situation remains fluid and uncertain. This conflict is no longer about quick results. It is now about endurance, strategy, and global influence. Military pressure alone has not produced a decisive outcome, and as more players get involved, the risks continue to grow. The key question is not who strikes next. The real question is who can sustain this conflict longer, because in the end, that is what will decide how this situation ends.